Cher's memoir is here, and it's everything you'd expect, raw, bold, and packed with stories that'll leave you speechless. Classic Cher, through and through.
My mom said to me, "You know, sweetheart, one day you should settle down and marry a rich man." And I said, "Mom, I am a rich man."
So let's dive into some of the standout moments she shares. First up, Cher gets real about her first sexual experience. At 14, she had a crush on a boy from her neighborhood. They started dating, spending time together, and things seemed great until they weren't. She writes about how he acted sweet when they were alone, but changed completely around his friends. Wrote, "He treated me like a kid," she recalls. The final straw? His friends teased him about dating her, and he ended things just like that.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
Cher admits she was hurt and angry, and decided to have revenge sex with him. "I was so angry at being dismissed, I decided to, if not lose, loan out my virginity to him." She calls the experience overrated, and remembers telling him to leave and never come back.
You weren't supposed to have a successful television show. You weren't supposed to be an actress.
Yeah. I wasn't supposed to be able to have a successful road show. I kind of,
You have the last laugh?
yeah.
You like it that way?
Yeah.
And if that wasn't wild enough, Cher had her mom's voice ringing in her ears right after. She shares how her mom used to joke that she'd know the moment Cher lost her innocence, just by looking into her eyes. So, of course, right after her first time, Cher rushed to the mirror. "I half expected to see the word sex flashing in fluorescent letters across my forehead," she writes. But nope, nothing had changed. No flashing signs or giveaways, and her mom never suspected a thing.
You have to know that Daddy drilled that into my head because Mother wasn't there. He said, "Don't you ever let a man touch you, ever, 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 unless you're married."
But wait, there's more. At just 16, Cher found herself in a run-in that's almost too crazy to believe. After a near car crash, she stepped out to shout at the other driver, only to realize it was none other than Hollywood heartthrob Warren Beatty, who was 25 at the time.
I was wilder when I was 9 years old than I ever was as a teenager.
Instead of brushing it off, Beatty invited Cher to his house for a swim in his pool. He welcomed her inside, served some cheese and crackers, and then leaned in for a kiss. Cher, totally taken off guard but curious, kissed him back, thinking, "Now, this is interesting." And here's where it gets complicated. While it's a wild Hollywood story, we have to remember that Cher was still a teenager, and Beatty at 25 was much older. After the kiss, Beatty handed her a swimsuit that had once belonged to his former lover, Natalie Wood, and they swam together. Cher remembers it as a fun time, but the age gap and the situation certainly raised some questions.
But my life is very complicated, much more complicated than you guys could ever imagine.
One of the wildest stories in the memoir involves Salvador Dali. Cher, Sonny Bono, and Francis Ford Coppola were invited to a dinner party at Dali's place. They showed up only to realize they'd crashed an orgy. Cher writes about eating chocolate, shaped like Dali's famous melting clocks, and discovering one of his bizarre, battery-operated fish. "Oh my God, Salvador, this is beautiful," she exclaimed. "Yes," he replied. "It's lovely when you place it on your clitoris."
Do guys expect fabulous sex and fabulous like because you're
Yes.
Cher and you're
Yes.
yeah like
And they get it,
how do you know?
because you can tell by the reaction.
Of course, no Cher story is complete without Sonny Bono. Cher opens up about a dark time in Vegas when she felt incredibly alone. At one point, she even considered a drastic decision while standing on the balcony, looking down. "I was dizzy with loneliness. I saw how easy it would be to step over the edge and simply disappear. For a few crazy minutes, I couldn't imagine any other option. I did this 5 or 6 times.
I was really, really unhappy.
Luckily, that moment led her to a life-changing realization. I don't have to jump off, I can just leave him. And she did. But before all the challenges, their love story had a fairy tale beginning. Cher describes their first meeting like a scene straight out of a West Side Story. It wasn't love at first sight, but she instantly knew he was someone special. Sonny Bono had already been working in the music industry for a few years when he met Cher in the early 60s. The young songstress was just 16 years old in comparison to the 27-year-old Bono, who was already married but separated from his wife. Even though they weren't romantically involved, Cher was soon living with Sonny.
Yeah, but so we were like pals. Actually, I was like an annoyance to him. Not really an annoyance, but all the girls that lived in the building next to us, like they were all very, like that, and I was very,
He'd moved into a nearby apartment when her roommates kicked her out and said she could stay with him if she'd clean the place. Reluctant to return home, Cher agreed to do so, though she never actually tackled household chores. He also let her know up front he didn't exactly have hard eyes for her. He said, "Okay, I have twin beds. You can stay in my house. I don't find you particularly attractive," said Sonny. Yet, in time, their relationship shifted from platonic to romantic. Soon enough, Sonny and Cher began working on their musical careers. Thanks to his work for Phil Spector, Cher got gigs as a backup singer on Spector-produced hits like You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin' and Be My Baby. Sonny felt Cher could succeed as a singer on her own. But due to her nerves, he started performing with her to make her more comfortable. And after a few detours, including time as a duo called Caesar and Cleo, the pair became stars with I Got You Babe. Sonny had written the song, and he continued to oversee their career as they produced other hits, including 1967's The Beat Goes On. Cher told Billboard in 2017, "I knew what I wanted to do, but I never would have gotten there without Sonny." Cher and Sonny's personal relationship had continued as they sought and found stardom. They had a faux marriage ceremony in 1964. They would officially tie the knot in 1969. As in their career, Cher was happy to let Sonny take the lead in their personal lives. In 1969, the couple had a child, Chastity Bono, who later transitioned to male and became known as Chaz Bono. But this relationship milestone made it all the more important to jumpstart their career.
Something that was, not just to my music, but just to my, touched my heart.
Cher and Sonny started a lounge act, during which their onstage banter evolved into Cher delivering perfectly deadpan put-downs to and about her husband. They became popular enough to land a TV show in 1971, the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. It was a huge hit, with their family relationship a centerpiece of the series. Despite showcasing an ideal relationship on screen, Cher and Sonny's dynamic behind the scenes had begun to crumble. At the height of their stardom, Sonny and Cher's marriage became rife with infidelity. It all began in 1972 when the relationship started going downhill. Sonny wasn't faithful to Cher, who once remarked, "One woman, or even 5, was not enough for him." I asked him, "How did you manage the logistics?" I was trusting and faithful with him. I'm not sure if we should have ever been husband and wife. Soon, both were having affairs. Sonny was seeing a woman named Connie Foreman, and Cher was seeing several lovers, but would begin seeing label executive David Geffen.
He was such a wonderful boyfriend. We had such a great time together.
As their careers were tied up with the idea of Sonny and Cher as a couple, it was hard to divorce. Instead, they stayed married but found new partners, with some joining the couple at their mansion. Yet, the marriage facade couldn't last forever. Sonny filed for separation in February 1974. Then Cher demanded a divorce, calling their marriage involuntary servitude. In the process of breaking up, Cher had discovered that Cher Enterprises, the corporation formed by Sonny, was 95% owned by her husband, with the remaining 5% held by their lawyer. Despite being known as a pair, only one half fully profited from Sonny and Cher. Trusting her hubby, Cher had also signed a restrictive contract that meant she couldn't take jobs without Sonny. Now she wanted out of this agreement. When the divorce was finalized, they were ordered to split their earnings and properties equally. Sonny was also told to pay for all of Cher's legal fees, in addition to paying her $25,000 a month for half a year and pay child support. Cher struggled to find her footing after divorcing Sonny. She said in a 2017 interview that he had made every decision for her. "I knew how to sing and how to be a mother. I didn't know anything else." But she remained a star and added an impressive career in acting to her resume. Sonny decided to become a restaurateur before turning to politics. Despite sharing a child, Cher and Sonny often sniped at each other in public after splitting up. If asked about the time she'd been happiest, Cher would often say, "When I left Sonny." Sonny felt Cher played the part of a victim, yet they reunited for an emotional rendition of I Got You Babe on Late Night with David Letterman in 1987. And Cher once clarified, "Even if we don't say nice things about each other, it doesn't mean anything. I know Sonny too well." Cher was devastated and in shock when she learned Sonny had died in a skiing accident. She spent days drafting a eulogy she hoped would repair all the damage and misconceptions about Sonny. At his funeral, her moving words touched on their history and connection. She ended by saying,
I was young. There was this section in the Reader's Digest, and it was called The Most Unforgettable Character I've Ever Met. And for me, that person is Sonny Bono.
"No matter how old I get, no matter how many people I meet, that person will always be Son for me." That's all we have for you today. Thanks for choosing Rumour Juice. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell for more celebrity stories. And we'll be right back. Be well and be kind.